Okay. I'm going to wade into the deep waters that is 90 Day Fiancé. Episode 1, season 4 of The Other Way. Wish me luck. Okay, let's organize ourselves as it relates to this episode. It spotlights 4 different couples. First, you have Chris and Jamie. Then you have Danielle and Johan, Gabriel and Isabel, and then you have Jen and Rishi. So I'm going to start with the clips about Chris and Jamie.
My name is Chris. I'm from Haleyville, Alabama. I feel like I'm 20, and I look like it too.
I have to say, the fairy outfit with the rainbows doesn't scream psychological stability. I will also say that it's not that rare for somebody who is in an environment that doesn't support their identity to want to find ways to express themselves.
I never was happy in my relationships. So I've raised my kids as a single mother for a lot of years. I've always considered myself bisexual, but I've always been attracted to women. I've only had a couple of relationships with females. And I don't really call them relationships. We were intimate.
If you look at the line, like she's talking and they've got it snipped together like this is like a normal conversation, but you know that the interviewer said to her, so how long have you been interested in women? And then she tells a story, oh, forever. And then the interviewer says, have you ever had a relationship with a woman? And she says, oh, I have had relationships. And then you know the interviewer was like, did you do anything dirty with him? Tell us about the intimacy. I wonder what that job is like.
I've lived for my children, but now it's time for me to have my own life.
How many days is it between when you actually arrive and when you get married?
Even though Jamie and I have never met in person, Jamie and I will be getting married 9 days after I arrive in Colombia.
My guess would be that she feels rudderless and she's so desperate for some kind of solid footing that she's like, I'll put my eggs in any basket, just anyone that feels stable. And by doing that, she ends up picking situations that are incredibly volatile.
6 months ago, Jamie got COVID, and she was hospitalized. I knew from that moment that I was coming to her, and I was gonna do whatever I had to go be with her.
I don't want to be dismissive, and I don't want to be overly critical, but if I'm honest, I look at this or I hear that, and I think she's living a fantasy. I think she's asking herself, what would the perfect partner, what would the superhero do in this situation? Well, she would grieve deeply at the pain experienced by her partner, and then she would drop everything and fly down to Bogota and save her partner. All right, that was Chris's side of the equation. Now let's look at Jamie.
In my past, I have boyfriends, but I know like sex for men is hurt and is no passion. I never have organs.
Well, that has to be fixed. That has to be fixed right now.
Chris desapareció 20 días antes de mi cumpleaños y regresó o apareció de nuevo para mi cumpleaños diciéndome que lo sentía mucho, que tenía muchos problemas.
Se desapareció, apareció la puertorriqueña.
No, era de Texas. Desapareció. Fue justo cuando mi abuela fallece. Yo me sentía muy mal, me sentía muy sola. En ese momento regresé al website.
Chris lives in the States, is going to move to Colombia and marry Jamie in 9 days. In their dating history over the course of a year, Chris goes missing randomly for days at a time, at one point for 20 days, and came back and said, sorry, I got issues, so every once in a while I cut and run for an undisclosed amount of time. And in that 20-day period, Jamie was grieving, except for she started dating somebody else from Texas. I bet this relationship works out. This is perfect.
Defectos, pero yo creo que el punto, nuestra relación se ha basado en que podemos superar las cosas.
We all have flaws, but our relationship is based on our ability to overcome them. For anybody listening, if you're ever thinking that way about your relationship, if you're ever looking at your relationship and going, it's very unhealthy, but the strength of our relationships lies in our ability to shove these horrible things under the rug, just know that your trauma, that your grief, that your distress, your whatever it is that you carry, it's distorting the way that you view the world to make you think these terrible things that you're experiencing right now in this relationship are okay.
I'm just so tired of the New York City grind and having to work so hard to just squeak by. About a year ago, I decided to take a trip to the Dominican Republic, and that's where I met Johann, my Prince Charming. Johann is 32 years old, and he was a personal trainer at the hotel that I was staying at, and he was absolutely beautiful.
I don't mean to be a dick, but how many American women do you think Johann has had relationships with in his role as the poolside personal trainer?
We could not be more different humans. He's 10 years younger than me. He lives in another country. He speaks another language. And we literally can't see eye to eye because there's like a 2-foot height difference.
That is, I've got all kinds of physical questions, not for this video, but I gotta admit, I've got questions.
That first morning back, he proposed. I knew that this was the person I was supposed to marry.
They've spent a collective, 8 days, and he proposes? And they speak different languages. I'm sure it's love. I'm sure it's all about love. Gotta be. No ulterior motive from either one of them, I'm sure.
Have you ever heard of the term sankey-panky?
A sankey-panky is a male sex worker that lives in the Caribbean. They meet some American that comes down on vacation and develops a sexual relationship that continues while the American goes back home. And the ultimate goal is for the sankey-panky to get married, get a U.S. visa, then abandon the American. That's exactly what's happening.
My name is Johann. I'm from Dominican Republic. I am personal trainer.
Hold on. I think there's a lesson here. Johann doesn't speak English, doesn't have a job that can support Danielle, doesn't live in the same country as Danielle, but he has a six-pack. I think six-packs are powerful. I think there's something there.
Me interesa aprender inglés. No simplemente por Daniel, también por mí, por más oportunidad en los Estados Unidos.
So we're 100% clear. He has no interest in the relationship with Danielle. He has an interest in moving to the United States.
I understand that Johann really wants to come to the United States. Johann is not going to be happy once he learns that my plan is to live in the Dominican Republic forever.
I feel so bad for Johann. Instead of getting a ticket to New York City, he's picked up a barnacle.
Agua es mucho hermoso. Me gusta aquí mejor que mi país.
Shampoo, my conditioner, my wax, onion hair oil, organic coconut oil. I love my hair. I'm the only one here in my city who has a long hair with the curl.
All right. The guy's got an ego on him, but I will tell you, I would do anything for that hair.
Being a model and a fitness trainer, I have a lot of attention from the women. I don't need to give any effort. They approach themselves to speak with me. That is how I met my fiancé, Jen.
Y'all are hungry. I'm Jen, and I'm 46 years old, and I live in Stillwell, Oklahoma. I have a track record of falling for the wrong guys. I would choose guys who were good-looking and very charismatic, but in terms of a long-term partner, they were not what I needed.
So she's really changed it up with the model and fitness trainer that has no problem getting girls.
I met Rishi in a hotel lobby while I was on a solo trip to India. We just started talking, and he started showing me modeling photos.
I'm sorry, come on. Can you imagine if you meet a woman, she's interested in you, and you go, hey, sweetheart, check out these pics of me. This is me right here. And the woman's like, oh yeah, I love it.
We saw each other 4 or 5 times, and it's hard to pinpoint exactly what made me fall for Rishi. I knew he was the one.
If you have a track record of picking the wrong kind of person and the people that you date consistently hurt you, there's a wide range of reasons why you might be interested in that kind of person. It could be that you're reenacting trauma. It could be that you're excited by something different. Whatever it is, the solution is in the future when you're pursuing a partner, pick people that you would want to be friends with. Pick people that you intellectually think are good people and allow the attraction to grow. You allow lust to drive your relationships, you're going to consistently get the same kind of profile of person that hurts you. Which, by the way, is exactly what she's doing.
I seem to recall you talking about him not responding.
Yeah, I did. I went through some insecurity. I kind of spun out a couple times. If he didn't call me like at a certain time, I've thought the relationship is over, and I've sent him a couple videos.
I'd love to be wrong about this, but I just have a feeling. I have a feeling that you're distancing yourself and that maybe you're not all in. I'll always love you. You're like my first love.
If I were talking to Rishi, I would say run for the hills. Like that behavior, she's mad that he's not talking to her enough. And so her solution is to punish him, right? She's trying to manipulate him. Let me take this video of myself, plastered, crying. I'm going to send it to you. Look how you've hurt me, right? I'm going to ramp myself up and show you how distressed I am because of your poor behavior. Super manipulative.
I felt like our heart was like a boom, like there was a string, and it was like, you don't have to say anything, but it's like you feel it, like your chest just wants to be like, all the way to them. That's exactly how I felt. We was kissing, we was dancing, we was hugging. It was a great night. And Isabel told me that she doesn't have sex on the first night, which I was kind of relieved because she did not know that I was trans. The morning after I met Isabel, I'm like, oh, I have to tell her. So I ended up telling her through text messages, and she tells me, it's okay, because I just see you as a man.
Most of these couples I look at and I go, this is ludicrous, right? You're being too impulsive. And I think I'm sure it's the case for him. He's being too impulsive, all those things, like sort of the prerequisite for being on the show. And I can imagine that if you're transgender and you find somebody that you're into, that's open-minded about who you are, is an incredible relief.
A couple months after we met, I started renting an apartment in Medellin, Colombia. And that's when Isabel moved out of her family's house and in with me in Medellin.
So they actually have a relationship. They see each other more frequently. Like, this feels more reasonable than the rest of the couples on the show.
Her mom and dad, they don't know. And I'm trying to marry their daughter. So, like, what would you do and how would you phrase it?
You really want her parents to know, though?
Yeah, they gotta know.
I can imagine it's a tough decision to decide to tell the parents or not. I think it's the right one, though. I think it's probably the right one for him, and I admire him for doing it.
Before I make my move, I'm actually going to get her name tattooed on me.
So you're getting this new tattoo, is that like to prove that you love her just as much as you used to love the person on the back of your neck, or what?
Yeah, for every single couple in this show, it's like they're running from something, right? They don't have any stability here, and so they're running to something else. And it seems like maybe because of his family of origin, he struggled to find like connection and connection with others, and so he'll do whatever it takes to join a family. It's interesting, if you look at all four of the couples, the through line is people feeling isolated and alone and detached at home, and a raw desperation for connection. And I guess from a personality standpoint, a high level of impulsivity. So fascinating. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all those things.